welcome everyone here today. And did everybody get a copy of the minutes of the previous meeting? Get his attention down there. Did everyone get a copy of the minutes? Any
the time to adjourn, is that what you're
yeah,
talking
no,
about?
I'm trying to get started so I can get to adjournment before it's too late.
I make a motion to approve the minutes.
All right, I have a motion. I've got a second. All in favor, say aye. Any opposed? Okay, I'd like to welcome Kenny Smith with the University of Tennessee with us today. Don Hurst with the State of Tennessee VCD. We've got Nancy Barker and Jim Lee both joining us from the County Commission. We've got Clay Walker and Ronnie Price with Networks. And we've got Mr. Jeff Bobo with the Kingsport Times News. We're glad to have all of them with us today. I'd also like to welcome Patrick Lund, the newest member of the Hawkins County Industrial Board that we had recommended to the full county commission, and they approved them, I think, at their last night's meeting. And so Patrick, I know, will be a great addition to this body. He works with us very closely on every industrial project that we have, and so we're certainly glad to have him join us and look for his expertise. We're glad to have Calvin with Mallard and Craig had just joined us. So we'll hear from Calvin here in just a few minutes on some items that he's got. We've got the report of the Secretary Treasurer, Rebecca, if you would.
Beginning balance March 28th of $19,213.15. No deposits. One check for $1,178 to U.S. Bank. Leaving a balance of $18,035.15 today. One CD at Civis Bank for $6,131.43.
Any questions or anything concerning the financial reports?
I make a motion to approve.
Got a motion, second, for Bill, all in favor, say aye. Any opposed?
One thing, in case you forgot, our illustrious leader down there graduated from the TBA school. Have you got that down?
I've got that.
That's all right. If you know how you get amnesia.
I do. Sometimes things pass me, but Rebecca graduated from the Tennessee Valley Workforce Institute, and I was glad to see that Mr. Bobo got that in the news.
That's a good article.
It was a good article about what goes on, and you know, we certainly, with all of her other achievements and education accomplishments, we're certainly proud of Rebecca, and I wanted to acknowledge that today. I'm glad that you brought it up.
You don't care if we give Bobo an extra brownie, right?
Yeah, he can eat 2 brownies.
I'll take one for the road.
Getting that, maybe 3, I'm not sure. I guess just to let you know about some of the what's going on, we've had several meetings. We met since the last time that this august body got together. We had a meeting with the Hawkins County Industrial Committee of the commission, and we seemed like it went pretty well with everybody. Hopefully they understand a little bit better about what you all do and what this group does. I tried to go all the way back and bring some up to speed on because the long history with industrial development in Hawkins County and the Phipps Bend Industrial Park and how all that group was formed and all of that. So hopefully, you know, we'll get everybody on board because we all work together for the same reason and for the same result in the end, and that's to bring more tax dollars into Hawkins County and bring more jobs into Hawkins County. So that's what we're all about. We also had a meeting, which is required once a quarter, for the 3-Star Award of the Economic Development, what's the name of that group?
Joint Economic Development Board.
Joint Economic Development Board, and that's the mayors of the different cities and our county mayor and just different ones that are involved in economic development throughout the county. We had that meeting a week or so ago. We also met with the AGC group, talking to them about another project. And then we've met a couple of times with Barrett, and are working with them very closely now. I know Rebecca talked with them again this morning about a problem that they've got over there as far as working with the railroad. And so we've been working with our state representative and our congressional office also about trying to help them out. That's Barrett, as you know or may not know, is the largest employer in Hawkins County. And they've had issues with transportation going and coming. Their product all comes in by rail. They'd like for some of it to go out by rail, and after we encouraged them to build 2 railroad spurs over there so that could happen, they still are not able to ship by rail because of the size of train cars and stuff that Norfolk Southern supplies them. So we've got a real issue over there. We're trying to work with them and the railroad and put some pressure to bear on them to work with them, but we'll see how that goes. I know we met with them over there on 2 different occasions just in the last little bit. So just to let you know about some of the meetings that have gone on since the last time we met. The Phipps Bend joint venture approved the demolition of a couple of buildings, one on the road coming into Phipps Bend, and the other one inside Phipps Bend was an old building that we inherited from TVA, and I'm pleased to show you a clean slate up there on the road going in, so we can now see what we can do about selling that piece of property now that we've got it cleaned up and everything. So
Looks good.
So we got that done, and the bills, I just signed a check to pay for that. We're having we've got the sheriff's department, and by the help of Nancy and Rebecca and the 3-Star program, we got a $15,000 grant to refurbish the what are we calling that, the emergency
Services building.
Because we've got fire department, we've got emergency management people, we've got all of the stuff, if we have fires and things up there for that. Hazmat is what I'm trying to think of. Now we have the sheriff's department also has a satellite branch there where deputies can come in and do their paperwork and everything and show more presence in the park. And so we're having a ribbon cutting on May the 2nd for that facility. And I went up the other day and went through the facility. It's all those that work to get that in place. Let's see. Don, I think I read in the paper where there's some change that has gone on, I guess maybe with the new governor and everything. You've got a new boss.
Well, one of many.
At least one.
I've got plenty of bosses. But yeah, Lynn Tully, who's been working with KEDB for the last 5 years, I guess. And Lynn was selected to be the regional director for Northeast Tennessee for ECD. And she will become effective, April 29th.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we've known Lynn, so that'd be a good addition. We hate to see Isla leave. Known Isla for many, many years, but, Lynn will do a great job, and we're looking forward to working with her and invite her down to join us, sometime, Don, if you would.
We will do that, we'll get her on the road.
Uh,
Introduce her days.
Calvin, I know, Calvin's been working on our behalf on a couple of different issues, so you want to report in kind of what's going on with you?
Sure, we've, as you know, we're working on the due diligence project where the grant was awarded, late last year, and we're well underway on that. I can tell you today that the geotechnical work and the environmental site assessment are complete. The other, parts of the assessment, the cultural, historical, the wetlands, the endangered species, and all of those are, they're currently underway. We're hoping to have those wrapped up, mid-May. We've reached out to the railroad regarding the, rail siding assessment. We'll be working with them in the coming weeks, and the, finalizing the survey, the Alta survey, we're getting that wrapped up in the coming weeks. We had a progress meeting with Don and Tim Tidwell with TVA to try to make sure everything is running in line with future grant opportunities. One other thing that I'll mention, we've been working with the State Department of Transportation, reached out to Federal Highways and several other sources, trying to identify a funding source to repave Phipps Bend Road. And unfortunately, we've not found a really viable source for funding. Everyone I've spoke with says basically it's a county road, and the county's responsible for maintaining, resurfacing, and so on. But we are requesting that the state reclassify that road. We basically just got to send a letter in from the county highway commissioner and ask that road be reclassified, and then we'll be able to put it through the rural planning organization, through the RPO, so it can be considered for funding through the RPO organization. And it's a very similar scenario of what Press Road up in Churchill. That project is going to be underway hopefully in a few weeks. It went through the same process, only it went through the MPO. Churchill is part of the Kingsport Municipal Planning Organization, whereas Phipps Bend will be a new rural planning. So it'll follow the same track. Hopefully we can see that funded in the coming years. It's just a couple things that we've been working on.
Would, how about, AFG road? Is it, it's not inside the Churchill.
It is also a county road, is my understanding. And I hope everybody knows that the landslide project has been completed. That was a big improvement. Of course, you've still got a bridge on AFG Road that's on the state list that's been inspected, and I think that bridge may be slated for improvements in the coming. There you go. So,
What do you say?
We have a meeting on the 30th with the state at that bridge.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's a state, Patrick, I think that's a state aid bridge, so it'll be part of the, TDOT will help fund that bridge. So, same thing goes with the paving. It's a county road, but we could, we could request funding through the RPO to try to get it resurfaced, but it's gonna be competing with everything else.
Well, that's a good report. We appreciate all the work that you're doing for us. I know the last time, the state actually built and paved the roads inside Phipps Bend to begin with. But the last time they were paved, the county actually paved them to industrial standards that we had laid out. But it was part of an overall bond issue that the county did for a lot of roads all over the county. And so I don't know if that's in the works or not, but if we can get them, some help through some funding sources like that, that'd be great. But now that does at least we're making an effort to try to get to that, so,
Along those same lines, the new TDOT commissioner and the governor released their 3-year plan, I guess week before last, and I think I've shared that with several of you. One of the major projects, you mentioned Barrett earlier, the Highway 66 project is now slated for right-of-way acquisition, I think, in FY '22. So design work is proceeding, environmental permitting is proceeding. The next step would be the right-of-way acquisition. So it is slated for funding. And it is, still sometime down the road, but at least we're on the schedule and it is moving forward, as is 11E from the Bulls Gap exit 23 back towards Morristown. And I can't remember exactly where it is on the schedule, but I think I forwarded that to some of you. If anybody else would like to see it, I can share it with you.
that's good information. As I understand it, on the 11E portion, they've not made much plans, or I guess from Bulls Gap onto the interstate. Everything's up to Bulls Gap, and they had that cut up into A, B, and C phases. A phase being coming out of Morristown, B phase coming through Hamlin County into Hawkins, and then C phase from Bulls Gap onto the interstate. And so there's not been a whole lot of work done on that phase through Hawkins County. I'm sad to say.
And just FYI, this town of Rogersville has opened the bid for the road going into the park down.
Industrial Park Drive.
Yes, all the way down to Sandville.
Yeah, the mayor was telling me that was slated to do this
They opened the bids
very
last
quickly.
Tuesday night.
Good, so hopefully the 3 industries down through there are gonna get a new road paved and a job in that industrial park, so. Rebecca, what else is going on?
Okay, because of the site development grant that we received, it was in the Hawkins County Industrial Development Board's name and not the county of Hawkins. So we have to have our own non-discrimination policy. In previous years, we fell under the county's policy, but because this grant was in our name and not the county, we had to have our own policy, and we did not have one. So I have constructed a policy here, so just pass those down and read over it. Larry's read over it. I talked to Larry about it.
I'll give you time to get it all, everybody get a copy of it. Basically, all non-discrimination policy pretty much read the same. This policy states the Hawkins County Industrial Development Board does not discriminate on the basis of race, color, national origin, gender identity, sexual orientation, age, religion, creed, or disability, and admission to, access to, or operations of its programs, services, or activities. Discrimination against any person in recruitment, examination, appointment, training, promotion, retention, discipline, or any other employment practices because of non-merit factors shall be prohibited. And as Rebecca has just stated, she researched this to come up with this policy, and I've looked it over and did a little bit of review myself and feel like that this will cover us for the time being and for the future. So I'd like to, is there any comment on this before I ask for a vote on this? Can I get a motion to approve?
Make a motion to accept this.
I've got a motion, I got a second by Tommy, now open for discussion.
Is this,
Yep.
is this the final format of it? Is this what it's?
Yeah. And we feel like this will get us, you know, through any of the grants and things that we work with, we needed this. And, I was telling Rebecca, this thing is not just having a policy, you've got to have it on your applications, you gotta have it on all your paperwork. Everything that goes out of this, from this office will have to have this somewhere listed. And so, it's quite an involved
I
process.
talked to Martha down at the mayor's office on how they do theirs and what all it entails. And so, kind of following their suit.
Has to be posted to the office.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So, any other questions or comments? I've got a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, you now have a discrimination policy or non-discrimination policy, I should say, for the industrial board. Rebecca, anything else?
I'll be leaving in the morning for a TEDC spring conference. Be back Friday night really late. And then on May the 22nd, TVA is having a how to sell your community conference, I guess you would say, workshop. And it's in Knoxville for half a day. So I'm going to be there on May the 22nd, half a day for that. So.
Clay? I've been seeing you on the news and the papers and things, so what's going on?
I've
with
missed that.
It's, well, it's been positive. Maybe
good.
it's on Facebook, I'm
Good,
not
I
sure.
don't know. Well, you know, activity isn't as high as we'd like it. It's talking to colleagues and consultants. It's kind of across the board a bit of a slowdown in industrial movement right now. Have a lot of things going on politically, nationally, and internationally. That's no doubt impacting that. But we do have activity. And particularly, again, in FIPSPIN, we've had some looks and we haven't gotten forward with anything here in a little bit, but we continue to do that work. We've been going to lots of conferences with site location consultants, with the Tennessee Economic Partnership. In fact, I'll be going to some shows that I think, because of the industries, a ceramic or a floor coverings show that I think really it's a sweet spot for FIPSPIN. We're also working with the Knoxville Chamber. They've been working with Knoxville Chamber and Oak Ridge, have formed a composites consortium of companies in the composites field, or use a lot of composites material. And Doug Lawyer at the Knoxville Chamber talked to me some time ago about our involvement, because they're wanting to take it to a statewide program and include companies. The first company outside of the Knoxville region that's gotten involved in that is RMC, Advanced Technologies in FIPSPIN. And we're actually we're working on the details, but within the next few weeks, we're gonna host a meeting at the RCAM in Kingsport. So bringing that up is good, shows our partnership, and again, a leader across the state in these things. So I'm grateful for Doug and the Knoxville Chamber for making us the first partner in that. I'll be going to the TEDC conference tomorrow, and then in May we also have a TEP event in Charlotte. Again, reception. We just had one in Atlanta around the MRO Americas conference, and that is a aerospace MROs. So we had a reception while we were there. That's the show every year that we have a booth along with Tri-Cities Airport Networks as a 50-50 partner with the airport to exhibit at that show. You know, you don't get a lot of leads at shows directly, immediately. It's a process. But over the years in that relationship, anyway, we got a couple leads from this show this time. Mark Canty was in our office to be on a phone call with the company yesterday afternoon, looking at, well, it's pretty easy to figure out Mark Canty was there, so, it's an aerospace project. But, so, again, activity's okay, with projects, our activity, we're out there beating the bushes and proactively marketing and recruiting and working with our partners at the state and TVA. We are, working on the red carpet tour. We already have, with just some kind of early bird, save the date cards before formal invitations to some consultants that we really prioritize targeting. I think we've already got 4 of those, who have said, save me a spot, I'll be there. So, and we're very excited to have these folks coming in. So, it's just, obviously I've been spending a lot of my time, I know you've been reading a lot about it. I've been involved in a lot of meetings talking about, better way to do things as a region. There's one initiative about coming up with a name for our region, and I'm on a committee looking at that. In fact, we've got money in that. So there'll be a survey for everyone in the region who has a view to fill out. It'll be online whenever that is, and it should be very soon, and it'll be a short window because they're wanting to go quickly with it. So whenever we get that website up to go get the survey, I'll get that URL to Rebecca to forward it to all of y'all, and you go on there and let your opinion be known. So I'll be happy to answer any questions, but we're just chugging along. Most of my time's spent, I didn't know what I was getting into. I've just been, nobody warned me about how often you have to bail Ronnie Price out.
Yeah.
And it's at the oddest hours, for the oddest charges. I didn't even know there was a need for such laws. But anyway, we're really happy to have Ronnie as part of the team, and he's doing just what we thought he was doing, getting in and getting things done.
I was told all those warrants had expired.
Well, it's safe to move back, didn't you, Ronnie?
Well, we're glad to have Ronnie back too, and Clay is always involved in much of everything going on, and not only in the Tri-Cities region, but all the way across the state and the southeast. But it's amazing the activity that's going on with this regional project and renaming. If you read the Kingsport paper, as I do, and the local papers, try to rename, and everybody's got an idea about what that name should be, and I don't know. I've sat around and thought about it myself. It's hard to come up with what do you call this area? We called it the Tri-Cities for so long. To rebrand it is tough business, and this project was approached 10 years ago, I guess, or maybe how long? Ronnie? 15 years ago, and I was involved in that, and $5 million later, it's still the Tri-Cities area, and so.
One, I'm glad you mentioned that. There's been a bit of misinformation out there about the intent of this study, and one was, I think a Johnson City commissioner said we have to move, that this was because we need to get away from Tri-Cities. That really wasn't the genesis of this study. Some private entities had floated a regional brand of Appalachian Highlands several months ago, and it was met with very mixed reactions, and a lot of the municipalities of the Tri-Cities, both cities and the counties, said, we'll work on a brand and come to an agreement and work together on a name to call ourselves, but we really don't want it to be that one. So, they involved a bunch of people in marketing, each of the 3 Tri-Cities, Networks, NetRep, the tourism folks, a whole lot of folks, and to commission North Star, which is a marketing firm in Nashville, to come up and do that. Tri-Cities is on the table if it's a way, how do we shape, there's nothing eliminated or nothing settled on. It's an open slate, and so those who decided unilaterally to eliminate Tri-Cities from people's vocabulary or narrative, we haven't decided any of that. So when the survey comes out, if you have strong feelings about it, please go on and state them.
And they'll all get a copy of that to give their opinion on it, I think. The odd thing that we have here that is different than a lot of locales is that we do involve Southwest Virginia, and we do involve parts of North Carolina, and it's just a unique blend of true Appalachia that we live in here, and it's hard to come up with a term that defines who we are and what we are. But we have so much commonality among the folks, over in Avery County, North Carolina, and the folks in Southwest Virginia. We're all the same. I mean, most Scotch, Irish, and got a lot of habits. We all talk pretty much the same, and so it's hard to get away from that. When we formed the Regional Industrial Development Group through the TVA, we included Southwest Virginia and parts of North Carolina because that's what they serve, but it's hard to come up with a name for that, and so you've got a real heavy task on your hand, I'll say that. So good luck to you. We appreciate so much all the work, and I know Clay came down when we met with the industrial committee, and there's always questions and thoughts about what actually Networks does for us, and it's when you find out, it's amazing how much we do depend on Networks for our everyday work. So, anyone else have anything for the good of Hawkins County? Yes, sir.
On the May 2nd, the ribbon cutting, was there a time and a day on that?
That's at noon and then 12 noon.
May 2nd.
May 2nd.
May 2nd, 12 noon.
On May the 2nd, the ribbon cutting.
What you said the time was?
12 noon.
12 noon.
Thank you.
And it'll be right at the substation there. It's got the signage up.
Any other comments or anything?
I got our TV app that was provided through a TVA grant.
So when we have clients come in and we've got video,
We can do it here,
do
we
it
can
right
do it right
here.
for our board meetings, for anything that you wanna do it, use it for presentations, clients. And I did, give everybody a copy of all the board members, now that we've taken Tony off and added Patrick on there. If you will, just take a look at it, make sure that all your contact information is correct. Need to change or add anything, just let me know, or mark it on that paper and leave it here on the table, it'll be just fine.
Anything else?
Okay, just real quick,
Go right ahead.
we are revamping the 3-star program, new governor, new state representatives, so, we did have a meeting last Thursday, which was the first part of the revamping, where they have done the smaller grants between $10,000 and $15,000. They're actually gonna up that to $50,000, but it'll be a competitive grant. So, we got projects that would meet that criteria. If we can help with that, then, we'll be glad to do that, but it will be a competitive grant this time there. The last one, the $15,000 one was actually a competitive grant also. But since they've upped the amount, it'll be a little more competitive, so, and this way we only have to do the big, redoing the whole thing every 2 years, I believe is what she said, so. So anyway, that meeting was the first part of beginning the reaccreditation, so.
Well, I wanna thank all of you that serve on the industrial board. I wanna thank Calvin and Don and Kenny and the mayor and all of you that, and Nancy that participate with us to try to, provide better employment and tax dollars for Hawkins County, so we appreciate everything that you do for us. And with that,
I've got something I want to go. I make a motion to adjourn.
I don't say aye. Thank you so much.
Way go.
$170